Hi everyone, Dr. Kirsten Roberts here, and I'm going to talk to you today about one of my favorite exercises called Scissors Level 1. It is a basic march or hip lift, lots of different names for this exercise, but I realized further into my career as a physical therapist that I wasn't giving this particular movement the attention that it really deserved. It's a pretty simple seeming exercise in that I'm literally just lifting one foot off of the floor, but there's so much to it and it can be so telling. I use it as an assessment exercise pretty much no matter my client. When I see them, I will do this exercise and it can tell me so much information. So it can be great to do a little self-assessment as well. This is an open chain exercise, which means that my foot is now going to be coming off of the floor, meaning that I have to do a little bit more work to give the stability to my body to support my leg when it's leaving the ground. So I start out, as always, in my setup position. So I'm in neutral spine, center set, ribcage heavy, collarbones wide, and back of my neck long. And all I'm going to do here, I imagine that my favorite drink is balancing on my stabilizing knee, and I'm going to pay attention to my hip bones as if I've got a tray of drinks across my pelvis and I don't want to spill that tray of drinks either direction. And what I want to see is when my foot unweights from the floor, that absolutely nothing changes. And when I say nothing changes, I really mean that. So I mean we don't get a tip to the side of our hip. We don't get a flattening of our low back. We don't get an arching of our low back more. And we don't get a bulging of our lower tummy. So sometimes when that leg lifts, you'll see the lower tummy pooch out towards the ceiling. So none of those things should happen with this particular exercise. And if they do, it can indicate that there's a compensation going on some way, and can oftentimes be that thing that leads us to the reason why there might be pain. A lot of times with clients, when I do this and they realize, oh my gosh, I can't lift one foot off of the floor, that is a telling thing, and that can get us on that road to discovering what it is, the underlying issue that is, usually it's pain that's led them to me. So we want to figure out what that underlying issue is. And oftentimes this can be the exercise that tells me that. So I want to make sure that I keep that tray of drinks nice and still. And then my focus is, can I unweight this foot without anything changing? My final position is called tabletop. So this is a single tabletop, meaning that my knee is directly over my hip and my foot is hidden behind my knee. So I've got this nice 90-90 angle. And that's what I'm going for. I'm not going for this, and I'm not going for this. The reasons why, when I come in too far, you'll see how that'll generally cause my back to flatten into the mat, which is called a posterior pelvic tilt. What I want to start teaching my body is to maintain neutral while my hip moves. So they should be independent of each other. And then the reason I don't want to stop short is that will make my hip flexors start to do a bit more work. A lot of us, especially if we sit in chairs, really it goes both ways. If I don't do a lot of exercise, so I sit in a chair a lot, or if I do a lot of exercise like running, still these hip flexors can tend to take over and work a lot more than they should. So when we come into this position, it's really easy for that hip flexor to grip. So when I come with my hip directly over my knee, my knee directly over my hip, that can make a difference because of the weight of that thigh bone pressing down into my hip socket. So I exhale as I float up, and then I can take a quick inhale to hold, and exhale to place it down. So I'm only moving on my exhale, and I'm trying to minimize any extra movement, whether it's from my low back or my neck. Sometimes you'll notice that you'll start clenching your jaw as you start to do these exercises. All an indication that maybe the muscles that we want to work are not doing the job that they are supposed to be doing. So this would be a progression, as I start to feel, okay, I've got the control, I would start to work side to side, keeping the back of my neck really nice and long, and noticing if my shoulders want to start curling in to try and support me, keeping that width. And now I've progressed my breathing a little bit to exhale on the way up and inhale on the way down. Exhale up, inhale down. I oftentimes will start with the slower breath pattern of exhale up, inhale, hold, and exhale down. Inhale, exhale, float, inhale, hold, and exhale down to get some support established, and then work towards my exhale up, inhale down. Side to side. And that is your scissors level 1.